Good boy. Beautiful, beautiful. What a beautiful chocolate man. It's not a good start. I've me being stupid, I put 3 of the legs on, and then I've realised that it wasn't fully on the floor, so I can't move this one because it's locked. But I was like, oh, that's fine. It was like literally an inch off the floor, and obviously I went to go down, but it lifts it up before it goes down. I've got this on. I need someone's help because I need to hold the car forward. It's going to fall off the ramp. Because it kept going up. I was like, wait, am I pressing down? And then I looked, I was like, oh, I am pressing down. So I pressed down again, but it went up even more. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So we're down at BD Foreman. So remember that job ages ago that I said I would never, ever, ever do again on this car? Ever in my entire life. Yeah, we're doing it again. We've got the X5 behind us, which has needed everything changed. It's actually, I said at the time, it's the worst car I've ever bought by far, and I think it probably is. In terms of a car, me being mugged off by buying, I think this is the biggest mug off I've ever had in my entire life. But saying that, I have to give it a bit of credit, because since we've changed those arms, everything that needed doing when we bought the car, it's been towing every single weekend. I've towed probably collectively 2,000 miles, I reckon, probably more. Towing in this, 2,000 or 3,000 miles towing, and it's drove all the way to Switzerland, Italy and Austria and back. So I've got to give it a little bit of credit, but because I've been doing all those miles, there's lots of things wrong with it again, and one of them is the job that I swore I would never ever ever do again. We're doing it again, but there's no way I was going to do that on the floor, absolutely no way. So we've got it up on a ramp. So we're going to use this time to do a few different things. We're doing the ball joint, we're going to change the fuel filter, which apparently is a bit of a pain, and we're going to be doing some oil changes, because one of the things that break on these cars the most is the diffs. The biggest thing when I was buying about one of these cars was the diffs are terrible, the diffs always blow up, and I don't think it's ever had a diff oil change. So we're going to be changing the oil, and I am getting a little bit of a hum from the car. So it's either a wheel bearing somewhere, or it's the diff starting to make a little bit of noise. So we're going to dive into that. But first of all, we're going to do this ball joint. I've come somewhere, I said to Darren, have you got an air hammer and an air chisel? Because I ain't sitting there for 4 hours losing my total sanity, hitting it with a bloody screwdriver and a hammer. So we're going to do that job first because it's the worst one. Let's just crack on. So if everyone was doing this the last time, I was on the floor and it took me hours, and that was because the ball joint is actually bolted onto the hub. So when you first look at this, you think, oh, it's going to be an easy job. Take them 2 bolts off, slide off the ball joint. Definitely not. It was actually this, the fact that these are bolted on, for this side and from my experience, it made it 10 times harder than just having a normal ball joint, because you can't use ball joint splitters. You've got to separate these 2 pieces of metal, and last time when I did it, this piece of metal was welded to the hub, and I just couldn't split these apart. It took me hours to get these 2 bits of metal split, and even when I got them split and I got the whole flange off all the way, the ball joint itself was still seized in the middle of the hub, and I had to spend another 2 hours just trying to wiggle it around and move it, and eventually it popped down to about 18 different pieces. So thanks to BD, we've got a ramp today, and we've got some air chisels and air hammers and stuff. But even still, I have no doubt that this is going to be an absolute bitch of a job. And what makes it even harder as well is that you can't use any heat because you've got the CV boot right above it. Last time I used a little bit of heat and all it did was just melt through the CV boot, and then I had to replace the CV boot as well. It's honestly a terrible, terrible job, but I'm hoping the gods are looking down and they're going to make this side a little bit easier. So the 22mm nut on the end of the ball joint, and then you can get the arm. With a bit of gentle persuasion, it wasn't gentle, with a hammer, the arm will be dropping. So we're going to have to take this arm fully out of the way, which is a pain because you can access this bolt here, but it's a right nightmare to get on the nut over here. But last time we had to take that bolt fully out, which was even more of a pain because obviously you just can't really fully get anything in here. But this time we need to just loosen that nut just so we can swing it down. So I'm hoping we can get something in there without having to take all these plastics off like we did last time. Luckily I've managed to just get a spanner in this side, loosen that nut off, and then the arm's flying out the way now. Right, here we go. Now the games begin. In theory, you should take these 2 bolts out, and then the ball joint will slide away from the hub. that doesn't work in theory. In practice, sorry, that doesn't work. So we're going to be spending the next God knows how long trying to split them. Right, we've got our first issue. These hex bolts are tight and they don't want to come, so I'm just going to use a little bit of heat just around here. Hopefully not getting on the CV boot. Right, to stop heat getting to the CV boot, I'm just going to cover it with a little bit of metal just so it doesn't burn the boot. Okay, that worked absolutely phenomenally. If I could recommend any tool to anybody, it would be a blowtorch. I've only recently bought, and don't go to Halfords or whatever, the Euro car parts, and buy them like little £15 ones. They don't work, trust me. That's what I did for years, and I was like, heat never works. And then if you buy like a decent actual, like one of the matte blowtorches, they're honestly amazing. Like one of the best tools I've ever bought, I reckon. What we're gonna do as well is this works like a little light. Look at this. What we're gonna do as well is I'm gonna get the blowtorch and we're gonna use it and we're just gonna heat this up because I remember how bad it was last time. So I'm just gonna pop this in here to hopefully stop some heat getting to the CV boot. I'm just gonna blast this and hopefully that'll just separate them a little bit. The heat will just help separate them. As you can see here, I've got a thin flathead and I'm just using a hammer and I'm just splitting the metal a little bit. Now the idea is you want to split it using a thin one, so you see there's not much gap over there, and then once you've got a bigger gap, go to a bigger flathead. Or if you're lucky enough like me today and you've got one of these, wow. I need one of those. Oh my god, I'm actually frustrated at myself for spending all that time on the floor last time. Wow. That was honestly, like I just split it with a tiny flathead so that chicken will get in. Out it comes. Incredible. I think the mixture of the heat and the, oh my god, wow. I'm happy about that. Very happy about that. A little bit of copper grease on this one just in case you need to get it out. It'll come out easy. And just give that a little bit of a hammer in, or just line the bolts up and just bolt it in and just let the bolts tighten it up. So the new bolt wasn't easily going through, so I'm just gonna tap out the threads just to make sure that we don't ruin the new bolts. Swing the arm back on, put the nut back on, and our ball joint is now ball jointing. Right, the next job we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing the fuel filter. I know that this car hasn't had the best life, especially in the past few years with his previous owner, who I bought this car off. What a scumbag he was, by the way. But I don't know when the fuel filter was changed. I don't know if it has actually ever been changed. But what we do know is we're getting a little bit of smoke on the X5. Now it has got a lot, like it's got like 10 times better since I changed that oil breather, the Vortex breather. That made a huge difference, but it's still a little bit smoky. I can definitely see when we're towing. So the cost of one of these, I got these for so cheap and it seems relatively easy to change. Potentially we might have some dirty fuel getting through and we're burning dirty fuel. So we're gonna get the oil, we're gonna get the fuel filter off, and we're gonna see if we can open it up and have a look how bad it is. So if we're looking at the car here, if we come underneath, the fuel filter, you can actually see it, the fuel filter is here. Now I had a quick look at this job and everyone was saying it's actually quite a difficult job, but looking at it here, I don't understand how. But everyone who did do this job and said that, they were doing it on the floor, so imagine it being a bit fiddly. Now someone's definitely been in here and done this job, or potentially, well, they've been in here. I'm not sure if this job has been done, but I think it has, because if you see the cable ties here, you can actually see where someone's drilled out some rivets. So there's been rivets in here and someone's drilled them out and just cable tied it back together. To be fair, I probably would have done the exact same thing. So we're going to have to take this down. So we've got some bolts here, we've got a few bolts up here and a bolt up here, and this should lean down and we should access the fuel filter. One thing as well, there's actually a Jubilee clip on the fuel line. I don't think that would have come standard. So that again says to me that this job has been done, but I don't know how long ago it was done and I don't know what state it's been in. Obviously I know this car has not had a good life, so potentially it's been run on like no fuel, zero fuel multiple times. That means it might be full of shit. It might not be, but how cheap I got the part, it's not worth not doing. Look at this, I'm getting spoiled here with these tools, honestly. Tools, I can see things, I don't have to lie on my back. I just press a button and bolts get removed for me. Oh, hang on, well, Oh, this one don't feel very good. Bolts kind of get removed for me. Well, I've just faffed around taking like 8 bolts out. I took the bolts out of here, the bolts out of there, and I took the bolts out of here, bolts out of here, and it's still like no closer to coming undone. So all I've done is I've just cut these cable ties. Somebody's done the hard work of just removing the rivets, so we're just gonna use that to our advantage. And I'm just gonna I've just took the cable ties off, pull that out of the way, and there's a fuel filter. Simple as that. So we've got 2 cheeky 7mm here. Thank you whoever put these nice little Jubilee clips on. Thank you very much, because I hate dealing with stupid, especially when you've got German clips. German clips are the worst. It's like you need a fucking degree in engineering just to get a fucking clip off. So we're going to pull these off. Hopefully there's not going to be too much pressure in this. We're just going to pull the lines off, swap it over. We are going to open it up because I do want to have a look at how new it is, kind of thing, you know. So there's a little hex key which just closes that clamp. So once we've got that clamp undone, we can just slide it out. Right, we want to open it up and see how dirty it is and see when it was last changed. So, oh, this is a Bosch one, so this is aftermarket. Yeah, I reckon it's quite new. Okay, just making an absolute mess with the air chisel. I mean, it works, but so I've definitely seen worse filters in my life, but I'm happy that we've changed it. Right, fuel filter is on. We need to start the car in a bit. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to change the diff oil. The most unreliable parts of these cars are the diffs. For some reason, the diffs explode. I'm not sure how they explode, why they explode, or what causes them to explode, but it's happened to a friend of mine, and apparently the diffs are expensive. Apparently they're about £300 or £400 for a second-hand diff on these. Now, obviously, when you get a car like this, I don't think many people are going to be changing the diff oil. So I imagine they just run low on oil, or they just, and I'm not sure why, because it's not an LSD either. I have researched, and it's not a limited slip diff either, so I'm not sure what the hell goes on with them. Because when I was looking to buy some oil for this, I needed to make sure that if it was an LSD, I need to get LSD, because you've got friction modifiers in there which help with the friction plates and things like that. But I've looked, and these don't come with an LSD, so we just need some 75/90 oil. Here is the diff. You've got a drain bolt on the side and a fill plug here. So first of all, we're going to crack the fill plug and the drain and just make sure I can get them both off before we start dropping any oil or anything like that. So let's crack the fill plug. It looks like a HW12, maybe a 12mm hex. And I'm so intrigued to see the state of this diff oil. So it's a 40mm hex. I thought for a second we almost didn't have one. Luckily, we've got a 40mm hex. So that's the fill, and this is the drain. So I've made sure that we can undo both. The drain was actually the drain was actually really loose for some reason, and the fill came off nicely as well. So we can start draining the oil, but first of all, let's get a drainer. I'm very excited to see the state of this. It's not too bad. It's actually not too bad, to be honest. Sometimes it'll be absolutely black, and sometimes it'll be new if someone's done it, and sometimes it'll look like this in the middle. So this definitely isn't bad, but it's worth doing anyway. And I can't see any metal flakes in there as well, which is great news. So this diff is actually in good condition, and usually if you shine a light through the oil, you can actually usually see like reflective. If it's reflective, you can see little metal bits. It's not a good sign. It means that something's breaking down inside the diff. But right now, this is perfect. Right, I've let out that drain. Let's steal a pumper. I'm pretty sure it's a litre in here, but I'm just going to keep going until it starts coming out the fill plug. Might be a little bit over, but... So I've got some Miller's oil here, putting the good stuff in her. Piece of shit. So we're just going to pump into here. I don't know how this works. I'm not going to lie, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Is that working? I think that's working. Yeah, we have oil. So we've got a little pumper contraption here. I'm going to shove that in the diff. Then we're going to pump And you'll see it going up. There she goes. Again, until it just starts. Until it just starts. Oh, that was me. That's not come out. You can see it's just started coming out. So that is full. Just let it drip out until it's not dripping anymore. And then put the bolt, because quite a lot's coming out now, so I think I've overfilled it a little bit there, but it's fine. Just catch the excess. And then put the bolt back in. There we go, so it's not drip, it's only just dribbling out now, so that's happy. I'm happy with that. Bolt in. And that is our diff oil done. Can do this without specific tools, it's just a little bit more fiddly. So if you've got a pumper like that, you can get some kind of pumpers from shops for about £10–15. Or if you want to, you can actually put a hole in, you can actually put a line in there, pull it higher, and then just use a funnel and just pour it up from the top. As long as you're pouring above that, gravity will feed it down. So you can just lie underneath the car, run a hose into there, put the hose up, put it in a funnel, and just pour it straight through and down. So I've just put everything back together, and just double checking the play. They're still playing this side of the wheel. So there's playing the track rod end as well. So Ben's just seeing if he can get a track rod. And we're going to change it now while we're here, hopefully. It's like 2:30, so should get it here in time, hopefully. But it makes sense why it feels all over the place, to be honest, if there's a track rod and the low ball joint. They got one? Yeah, just the end, yeah? I think so. Yeah. So we've got a track rod, so we'll get that changed. So we're going to get this wheel off again. And get this track rod off. I ain't even fucking around trying to get it off. Blowtorch. Right, come on you bastard. Ooh. Oh, I was a bit worried about that one. When the spanners weren't going on, I was a little bit worried. Let's give it a big fucking yeet. Right, now we're going to put it back in. I think we've got to undo it here. Oh. I don't even fuck around anymore. When you've got a tool, when you've got a blowtorch, you don't even fuck around trying to get it off, just eat it. It's not going to not help, is it? Oh, you fuck. Oh, that's not, I don't feel good. That was definitely rounding. Oh, no, it wasn't. Thank God. Thought, oh, that definitely feels like it's rounding. Right, what we're going to do before we're going to take it all off, we're going to count how many times we spin the trap rod. Oh, no. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good. Fucking hell. Right, blowtorch. Yeah, no, that nut is wound off, so blowtorch time. Just heat the trap rod. Hopefully that'll expand away from the tie rod and it won't rip any of the threads off. So, they've got like a little sleeve, and basically when you knock that sleeve on, it's going to clamp down on these tapered notches. So I'm not going to I'm not going to wind it off with that sleeve on, so we need to whack this sleeve back against the nut. So we're just going to go full send with the air hammer. Well, I'm not going to go full send, but I'm just going to be a little bit nice with it. Boom, there you go, look at that. So now that sleeve's off. That now, hopefully, this should just turn with this. Because, come on, Mr. Trap. There we go. There she comes. I hope to God we don't need a new tie rod. Oh, fucking hell, it don't feel good. Right, it is coming. I'm just not going crazy. I'm just gonna, you know, get loose and tighty. Because the last thing I want to do is ruin the threads on the trap rods. I think it's coming off now, though. I think I just got through that bad bit. Oh wait, nah, still getting a bit tight. I mean, Gon's counting how many turns it's gone. There's no way I could count while doing this, so I'm gonna have to just do it by eye. Right, we got it. It's coming, and threads look okay too, which is good news. There we go. And as we tighten that nut, it's going to push that little sleeve. Okay, I was thinking the sleeve had to go all the way up, but I don't think it does, because when I look at the old one, you can see the line of where the sleeve was, and it wasn't all the way up. It's actually quite a similar location to that. It just looks wrong, but I can't get that any tighter. So I'm going to take that as that's fine. Right, so the play is gone, so we've got no more side to side play, which is awesome. So that was the problem. Now we just kind of need to do an alignment by eye. Right, and last but not least, let's see if she starts. And obviously I know with diesels and stuff, if you take injectors out and fuel fuel pumps and stuff, but you've kind of got to crank it a few times to let the system prime, but obviously it might start straight away, it might not, or it might not start at all. Right, let's see. Oh, so it starts up straight away, which is perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave it running, we're going to get it up in the air, and we're going to check for any fuel leaks from that fuel filter. And everything seems good. Thank God everything is now done on the X5. We had a little bit more to do than we initially planned, but I'd rather get it done while we're at BD with their tools, and also while we're up on the ramp. It's an absolute lifesaver using a ramp and actual proper tools. I need to get a unit and I need to get one of the air hammers. I can't wait to drive the X5 now to see how different that feels, because when you've got a ball joint and the trap rod out, it's, oh my God, it makes such a difference to the car. So hopefully it's going to drive way better. I've just looked and my tracking by eye wasn't the best. This front side is towing out a little bit, but I can't bother jacking it up because I'm never going to get it perfect anyway. So it'll get us home, we'll get it in alignment. And the fact that I know it's towing out is actually going to force me to get alignment. If I get one and it's pretty straight, I'm just never going to get it done. I know what I'm like. So huge thank you to BD Performance for helping me out today and let me use the tools. This would have been an all-day job, and a stressful all-day job without the tools and without the ramp, and it's been an okay day, to be fair. So I love you all, and we'll see you in the next video.